John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. He abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Call Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and others of great millstone who rule well over the flock, and shalom to all you brothers and sisters paying attention these end times. The father, the devil, is talking about Esau, Edom, going all the way back to Cain. All right. But ye, all right, the Lord was speaking about some Jews of that time who are offending, all right, who are offensive, all right, or reprobate, and they were serving their father, right, which was Esau, because the Roman Empire during the time of the Lord was ruling, and all of the leaders of Israel basically were bowing out and selling out, all right, to the Roman Empire in the way that in which they needed or desired the land of Judea to be ran. So Yahushua was pretty much cursing out the leaders, all right, wicked Pharisees and Sadducees during that time. All right, but who is the father of the devil? He's referring to the Roman Empire at that time, the Edomites. It says, and the lust of your father you will do. Why? Because there was knowledge, pre-knowledge of the Edomites, calling themselves Romans. We all knew who they were. They were the Edomites, whose brother was Jacob, where the Israelites came, and who are enemies of the Israelites. It says he was a murderer from the beginning. He abode not in the truth. Well, that's Cain. So this story began with Cain and Abel, and the spirit of Cain went into Esau, who was the Roman Empire at that time. It says, abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. So this man can neither speak truth or abide in it, because he is not. He's comparable to lies. He's congruent with lies. It says, when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, right? Because that's his self. That's him. See, we like to put our attributes, our righteous thoughts and attributes on the whole world. That's not how the whole world or nationalities was created or made. They was created so that each nation kind of has their own individual spirit. Now, the spirit of Esau is just that, the lies. All right. It says, for he is a liar and the father of it. So he's a liar. He's a murderer from the beginning, and he abides not in the truth. Now, when you watch this clip I have here of Joe Biden, you can see he's not familiar with Israelite children as much as they like to portray it. So they got him surrounded by him, and he slips them and basically calls them roaches. Check it out. First of all, he's known to interact with children a little bit too sexually, all right, if you will. Okay, but I'll digress. Hold on, I got to turn that back on there. Oh.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the...
Now watch this little girl. He has his arm around right now. Just watch her motion when he makes his next statement.
And it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn that.
Little girl knew that. That's not a statement that a grown man should be making next to her after he just held her and grabbed her arm. You know, even the little girl knows that's like, this is just odd because, you know, but he's telling on himself. He's saying what he's okay with around children. Let's go.
That turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down, so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at.
Some people gonna say, "Oh, that's innocent. That's innocent fun." You got to remember, these are the same people who used to use our children as alligator bait. They're not. He's not that far removed from southern redneck crackers, and even if he is claiming to be what he is, so-called Jew or Jewish, all you gotta do is Google Aaron Lopez, the slave trader from Rhode Island, all right, and find out what nationality or religion he claimed to be.
So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what, the men, they're now all men, the guys I work with down here, and they're all guys at the time. They're all good men. Most of them made an awful lot of themselves. And Earl Larkin had a rough time. And some of you knew Earl. I came back as a public defender.
What you just said.
The men, they're now all men. About roaches, I learned about reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids.
I learned about roaches. And that's what he's referring to, the Jake children that he's surrounded by. That's because that's his term for them. When behind closed doors, when none of us are watching and listening, that's his term for them. Now, this ain't just something new. Democrats, really having an evil hatred towards our people. All of Esau hates our people, man. From the nice ones that give you your COVID shots to the rest of them, man. All right? All of them have a hatred towards our people. You go into this article, opinion, look at Democrats' long history of racism. Tells you a few fun facts, right? Abraham Lincoln, by the way, was the first Republican president. It says here, after a bloody conflict ended in April 1865, the Ku Klux Klan was created by Southern Democrats who hated black people. People from the South will tell you that that's true. Interestingly, white Republican militias sought to destroy the KKK. In the late 19th century and early 20th century, Jim Crow laws were passed by Southern Democrat-dominated state legislatures to enforce racial segregation and remove political, economic gains by black people during the Reconstruction. So they broke us down after we had gained so much after slavery. They broke us down with Jim Crow laws started by Democrats. And this articles go on and on and on about different ways in which Democrats, plagued the black people, plagued the Israelite people in America. It says, now in the 21st century, poverty, crime, and apathy continue to plague many black communities, especially in the major U.S. cities led by Democrat mayors. And you can't deny that every city in which crime is high amongst Israelites, you got Democrat mayors. So all this talk about them being the party for our people, man, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. But furthermore, Esau is just not one who cares about other nations. He don't care about no other nation. That is not why they was put on this earth to have concern. They was put on this earth to be a devil, to deceive nations. Scriptures tell you in Revelation, he shall deceive the nations, and the nations shall hate the whore. All right, he that deceived the earth. This is Esau. You're not playing with a simple people. You're playing with a very demonic, devilish people, man. And they have figured out how to convince their enemies that they are friends. Habakkuk 2:3. For the vision, right? Let me start at 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up. Lifted up means puffed up, means proud. Is not upright in him. To have an upright spirit, that means you have a righteous spirit. You're right. You're right. All right. In the Father's eyes, you're right. Well, he doesn't have that spirit. He has upside down spirit. He has a backward spirit. He has a profane spirit. He has a profane heart. He doesn't meditate thoughts of peace and harmony. He meditates thoughts of terror, grief, of oppression. The scriptures tell you how you make light of concerning oppression. He talks proudly about oppression, man. It says, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also because he transgressed about wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires hell, and that's his military bases, thousands of them all over the country, military occupations all over the world, all right, over 1,000 all over the world. It says, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heaping unto him all people. So he terrorizes. That's in short, that's what Esau does. He terrorizes, all right. Now, let's get here. Sirach, the 12th chapter, starting at verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And one thing we know about rust, as soon as that rust shows up, it continues to rust and rust and rust. All right? It's hard to turn back that rust. Once it starts to become rusty, it's hard to turn. Well, that's Esau. Once he starts to perform his wicked, evil deeds, just like the time we are now, mandate after mandate after mandate, after law after law after fine and deregulation. Well, you're seeing it's only going to get worse from here. All right, so never trust thine enemy. Furthermore, what we know about Esau is that they had prior knowledge to the 9/11. If it was really a terror attack, I'm talking about some Trojan Gates type of situation, right? Then so much information that was spread prior to it would have never existed. Like TV shows with this pilot episodes about exactly the events that would occur later on in that year, or Simpsons portraying 9/11. It was a gag, man. It was a what you call a psyop, okay? For one reason alone, to get into the Middle East. All right, you have a situation right here. Sudan Lidar asserts that she and other intelligence colleagues were aware of the attacks on April 2001, and that Richard Carl Fuchs had advised in August 2001 against traveling to New York. Park Godfrey, a professor of computer science at York University in Toronto, Ontario, testified in United States v. Susan Lindor that he had been warned by Lindor on several occasions of a massive attack on southern Manhattan that would involve planes and the possibility of a thermonuclear weapon. We're talking about people that knew, in situations where people knew ahead of time about 9/11, to the point where, listen, we're talking about people who celebrating on the streets, man. So, Israelis, they got pictures of them celebrating on the streets of New York when it was happening, watching from a distance, celebrating. These things was already planned, man. It was devised. And that's what the scriptures say about Esau, that he devises evil upon his bed, and when the morning is light, he practice it. It's devised. Ezekiel 35:5. So the whole point is, not only did they devise it, and some people were called away from traveling that day or heading in that direction, but the elites, the ones at the very top of the Edomite food chain, they were sitting across these buildings. When you look at how 9/11 looks, all right, when you look at how lower Manhattan is, you have building next to building next to building, Salakia, where these people could just watch from a distance. All right, from the top. And who lives up at the top of these towers? Who lives at the top of these lower Manhattan, all these buildings out there? Edomites, man. I mean, look at the skyline of 9/11. All these at the very top, these are multi-million-dollar homes owned by the elites. Many of them owned by one or two, or a handful of people. These buildings, the Twin Towers, are owned by one man, Silverstein, in which he got a big paycheck after that. All right. Now, who was able to see all of these events take place? The elites, man. Trust and believe, they was right there watching the whole time, watching their operation take place. But we're supposed to believe that nobody had not prior knowledge to this whole thing. These are the devil, man. Scripture said, never trust our enemy. But like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. He humble himself and go crouching. Man, if you seen Rothschild or Rockefeller, one of them guys walked up, one of the Rothschilds walked up to this guy who used to walk around, who made the Loose Change documentary, and basically to prove all the 9/11 conspiracies true. And he walked up to the Rothschild on the streets of New York, and Rothschild looked all humble and crouching, all passive and lowly. But this the same dude that when he snaps his fingers, man. All right, people, the terror incidents happen. All right, wars are provided by men like that. You don't gotta look like we look. You don't. Satan don't have a look past being an Edomite. The only qualification it takes to be a devil, the devil, is to be an Edomite. Okay, because that's who the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So we're talking about the ones that rule in the world. That's the wicked, man. They're not hard to find. They're not underground. All right, they're above ground breathing this air, eating the choicest foods, and they happen to be demonic as all hell at the same time, man. You can't put your way of life and your thoughts on another people who the Most High create to be upright. It says, though he humbled himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. So you got to watch for this man to come humbly and crouching. Just like Biden saying, the kids used to play with my legs and I love children. And they sit up on my lap and good people. These roaches, he let you know, man, that was basically a slip of the mind. And you know, Joe Biden, he slips all the time. But he slips. He slipped in this, and in this incident, he slipped with accuracy. He didn't slip. He just exposed himself. It says, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not altogether been wiped away. All right, because there's still rust. There's still rust there, though he looks clear and clean. Well, that rust that is still there on these Edomites, it might look clean for a minute, but it's going to rust, and that rust is not altogether wiped away, though he's humbly and crouching and seeming as if he cares, caring attitude. He's truthfully still rusting. It's just you ain't seeing the side that's rusting. He ain't exposing that side. All right, it says, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he shall stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked with therewith. You know, so this, I believe this is all I had. Ezekiel 35 and 5 and 6 real quick. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. Right? Because when you go back into that article I was reading from, it tells you how the KKK was basically a strong arm of the Democratic Party. So if you can't trust the Democrats, you can't trust Republicans, it means you can't trust none of them. And guess who all of them are? They're just Edomites, man. You can't trust Esau. It don't matter how he coming. Red, blue, green, black. Edomite cannot be trusted because he had perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. It's going back to the Babylonian times. And it includes the times that we're presently in, because we're being ruled by them, because we're in servitude to them. So the Most High remembers all of it. It says, in the time that their iniquity had an end, therefore as I live, saith the Lord power. So that's our Savior, that's our deliverer, that's our supreme power, who has mercy on our people, because he watches over us. It says, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. So he sent the nation against this most fierce, cruel nation, okay, who don't serve him, but serve Satan. They you know, that's their power, Satan. Who they deal with directly, Satan. And here it is that the Most High will, in the end, he's gonna serve them, man. He's gonna serve them. I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So this is judgment. It's in the hands of the Father. Whether we wanted it to go down or not, Esau is going to go down. Lord, when we stay on the side that the Most High is pleased with, which is the men that have faith and endure to the end. Lord, when this video is edified. Till next time, Shalom.